Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NFL Picks. I'm your host, Mike 31. We're at week 9, almost halfway through the season. Crazy, it's going by this fast. So, a couple reminders. Turn your clocks back. If you're in the United States, it's daylight savings time. So, you can hour extra sleep tonight. And the Dolphins and the Chiefs will be playing in Germany at 9:30. So, we've got some early morning football. So this slate, I've heard a lot of pundits and people talk about it, saying that it is horrible, and it is. It's a rough slate. You got rookie quarterbacks out there. You've got some injuries and stuff. Low totals. Just that point of the season where it's really becoming a grind. A lot of the good teams are playing each other off the slate. So like the Sunday night game is going to be a decent game. The Germany game is going to be a decent game. So, well, let's just get into it. First game we have is the Rams and the Green Bay Packers. It looks as if Stafford is going to. I haven't seen that he's officially ruled out yet. He's highly questionable, and it looks like Brett Ripken will be coming in. I was kind of hoping that the guy from Georgia, the one of the 2 national titles, would be able to play, but he's been sick all year. They haven't disclosed with HIPAA like what's going on with him, but is it so he's going to not be out there. What's his name? Bennett. Yeah. Stenson Bennett. So just really looking forward to see what he could do. But so Brett Richmond's probably going to be the QB here on this side. Running back situation still anybody's guess. You've got good wide receivers here, but what's going to Nakua's a little bit banged up. Is Cooper Kupp going to be as effective with this quarterback? Like, do they have chemistry? How's that going to work? Is he going to be able to read the defense? So, Higbee's still there. Rams only have a 17 total. I think these are just screams just GPP here. And I'm probably just going to fade this game because the Packers, like Jordan Love, just hasn't looked good recently. Aaron Jones is back, but he's not 100%, and he's not out. So A.J. Dillon is kind of useless too because he's there to relieve Jones when he can't go, but Jones is trying it, but he's not 100%. Again, it's just a mess. Christian Watson doesn't look as good as he was when Aaron Rodgers was throwing to him. Dubes and Reed came out early and looked good, but they're starting to fade. Luke Musgrave's been fighting injuries. The whole thing is just an absolute mess. It was 37.5 total. I'm probably not playing anything from this game. Just moving on. Buccaneers and Houston Texans. This is my 5th favorite game of the week. 40 total, 3-point spread. I think you play either quarterback here. I like Baker Mayfield. I really like how he's fit in with his Tampa Bay team this season, and he looks good, making some good decisions, and still has that kind of keep you on the edge. See, what's he going to do? Is he going to throw a pick, or is he actually going to complete the pass? But I think that you can run on Houston. So I think White, or even coming out of the backfield catching it, I think he's definitely. We thought Chase Edmonds would start to carve away at that, but I think White has definitely established himself of being there to be the bell cow and get a bulk of the carries and catch it out of the backfield. Evans has come back from injury and has looked solid, and Godwin's still there. And Cade Otton at tight end at 3K is always someone that could catch a touchdown. So lots of opportunity here on the Buccaneer side. And on Houston side, CJ Stroud has been solid as rookie quarterback. We have Pierce out, so Singletary is probably going to be the chalkiest running back on the slate at 4-3. But Tampa Bay is a pass funnel defense. They really try to stop the run. They're pretty stout there, so I don't know if Singletary's really going to have much success. But I do really love this for Collins and Dell. Even Noah Brown at 3-1 there as the third wide receiver. If they're going to not be able to run the ball and going to have to pass it, I think he's definitely a sleeper there. And Dalton Schultz at tight end is definitely in play also. So in the game stack here, I think either QB works, Evans and then Collins or Dell. And again, in cash, I think if you want to just take the free square, Singletary as a 4-3 running back, it makes sense because I think he's going to be so highly owned. If he does bust, he's not going to kill you. But in GPPs, I'd be very cautious with that. Another game should give us a little bit of sparks here, just based on its battle of backup quarterbacks here. Jaron Hall is going to take over for Kirk Cousins, who tore his Achilles, had surgery, should be back for next year. Hate it for him. The team was looking good, heading in the right direction, even though they lost Justin Jefferson. They were still competing, but now it looks like this is not going to work out too well for them. And then on the Atlanta side of it, and I know that Arizona did trade Dobbs to Minnesota, but I don't think he's ready to play. So Jaron Hall should get the start. And on the other side here, Ritter, he's healed from his injury, and he's suiting up, but he's going to be the second string emergency one. He's not ready to play yet. So Taylor Heineke, who played for Washington, who is a solid quarterback, did pretty well for them, isn't in play here. And Minnesota definitely we saw what Tennessee did, shredding the Falcons through the air. So I don't think Jaron Hall's a great play here, but I think Hawkinson, especially, a check down for a young quarterback. Addison, Osborne was questionable. I think he should definitely be playing. So I wouldn't touch the backfield situation here in Minnesota at all, but I think there's some pieces here, especially Hawkinson, that are interesting. And I think, you can definitely go. It looked like when Ritter was one that they had like a lot of design runs plays for, and it was kind of run focused. But when Heineke came in, I think they trust him to throw the ball more. So Bijan Robinson his price was like 8K, like almost 9K. Now it's dropped down to 6-1. Even though they use these three running backs all the time and it's super annoying, I think at this price point he should be able to do enough to smash it, either running or catching balls out of the backfield. They're favored. They should play from ahead. London's out, so Van Jefferson is going to be super chalky at 3-6. Super, like all these wide receivers here, like Matt Collins or Hodge, like any one of them can go off. I think Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith, that definitely brings the tight ends into play also, being so thin at wide receiver. So in Minnesota, you can definitely pass against. So I think there's definitely going to be some opportunity here. So ugly game, but there's some really cheap, nice pieces to fill in the rest of your lineup here. And again, I think Bijan Robinson is going to be a priority in cash. The Commanders and the Patriots, another game that could be ugly, but is a 40.5 total and a 2.5 spread. Washington traded away all their defense pretty much, two of their best defensive linemen, and that was the only part of their defense that was actually good this season after last season, where I really liked their defense. I thought it was like turning into something special, like, not getting to like 85 Bears or 2,000 Ravens or even like the Legion of Boom of Seattle, but they were being formidable. But took a step backward this year, some injuries, and now they traded away their two best ends, who they were going to lose free agency anyways, I believe. So one went to Chicago and one went to San Francisco. So I think even though New England has struggled, that there's definitely some opportunity to pass the ball here. So Ford's favorite game here, Sam Howell. I still think that even though Patriots don't have a great pass rush, and maybe this will be a breakout game for him. Maybe he will be able to have some more time, get the ball down the field. So I think McLaurin and Dotson are definitely in play. Brian Robinson, Gibson, I don't like this. New England's usually pretty stout against the run, so I think they're going to be forced to pass. So Logan Thomas, McLaurin, Dotson are definitely in play here. I prefer Jones if I'm stacking the game as the quarterback instead of Howell, but I don't hate it if you're playing Howell. I get it, but Mac Jones, I think this is probably going to be one of his better games of the year. I mean, he had a good game against Buffalo, but I know that they lost their number one wide receiver to a season-ending injury. So it looks like, and Parker's out also. So Smith-Schuster's pretty much like over the hill. Like, yeah, he'll have some catches there, but I think most of the volume is definitely going to go to Stevenson out of the backfield. With Bourne gone, I think Douglas is going to step up. He's 4K. He's going to be another free square chalk piece that you're going to need in your lineup for cash. And then Hunter Henry and Gesicki, I think, also could definitely be in play for a tight end. So, like this game, if I'm stacking them, going Jones and Douglas, and then running back with McLaurin or Dotson. I think New England defense is one of the second cheapest ones. So I think they're really cheap on FanDuel and DK. I think Giants are going to be the chalkiest one because they're the cheapest defense out there and they've got a decent matchup. But I think New England will definitely be in play here against a Washington team that's struggled at times to put up points, and they give up a bunch of sacks and interceptions and stuff like that. Another potentially ugly game, Arizona and Cleveland. Arizona traded away Dobbs, and Kyler Murray is ruled out for this game. So Clayton Tune, I think, is going to potentially get the start here, or it could be somebody else. Like who knows who's going to be the quarterback of this team, but I think it's a great opportunity to play the Cleveland defense here and not play Arizona. But the running back DeMarco's out, so it looks like Ingram's going to be there. So Marquise Brown and Rondo Moore, like I don't know, like Tune, if he's or McBride, like had a great game and he's only 3.7. He might be the only thing in this Arizona defense or Arizona offense that you're going to want to play. So Deshaun Watson's back for Cleveland. Ford should be in with Hunt. Strong's also, so they've got three decent running backs there. Amari Cooper, Moore, Njoku was as projected to be pretty good as a tight end. So I don't know if we'll be playing a ton of Cleveland offensively. They're favored by 11.5 points here, but I think the Cleveland defense, and if you can nail the right running back, makes a lot of sense for that. Seattle and Baltimore. This is my second favorite game of the week. 44.5 total. Baltimore favored by 5.5. I think I'll take more of the Baltimore side of it. I think they're really starting to. Gus Edwards had like a 3-touchdown career game. I don't think that's happening again against Seattle. Lamar Jackson, I think, will be able to do well. Mark Andrews, that's a connection there. Flowers is still in play. Also, you have Bateman, Beckham, and Aguilar, who seem to get targets more in the red zone than Flowers does. Gus Edwards, I think, is still in play. But I pretty much, if I'm stacking this game, give me Lamar and Andrews, and I'll run it back with like Lockett or Metcalf. Kenneth Walker, third, I like, but this Baltimore defense has been pretty good against run, and Charbonnet is starting to come alive and get some shares out of the backfield there too. So, and Geno Smith, I think, is in play, but there's just so many other better matchups that I prefer that, I like this game for the total. So I'm going like Jackson and Andrews, maybe throw Flowers in as a double stack there, and then going to run back with Metcalf or Lockett. Bears and the Saints. This should be another decent game. 41 total, 8.5. It should be a decent game for New Orleans. We had Fields ruled out again, so Baggett will be starting there. Rashad Johnson's back, so again, we don't know how the backfield's going to split here. It could be 50-50 between Foreman and Johnson. So with that timeshare, I'm really not interested in either running back. DJ Moore, the Saints have been decent defensively, so DJ Moore is always in play, but more of GPP, not interested in cash. And Komet, maybe he's seemed to pick up some targets here with the rookie quarterback. So if you need but there's so many good plays at tight end, I just can't say that I can recommend him as someone to be a priority on the slate. New Orleans, love Carr and cash. If you're not paying up for Lamar or Hurts or Dax, he is your guy. Alvin Kamara, if you can get up to him, love him in cash also. The Bears, even though they've picked up like the guy from Washington, I don't know if he'll be ready to go. They have been horrible against the pass, have been okay against the run, but Kamara can catch the ball out of the backfield. Jamal Williams might pick up some, especially he might be a sleeper in garbage time, but that would be more like on the showdown slate thing to play. I think Kamara is definitely just someone here. Olave, love him there. Michael Thomas is someone that you can play to for volume. Shaheed, he just needs to catch like one deep ball to easily pay off his price tags on GPP if you're stacking. Throw him in there. And then Taysom Hill had a couple rushing touchdowns. I don't think that's going to happen again. Here, but I think for a tight end, if you want to take a shot at him, and GPP's at 4.7, he's got tremendous upside where he can come in and play quarterback. He can catch the ball, he can run the ball, he's like a triple threat. He can do all these different things. And then Juwan Johnson should be back also. So if you want a regular tight end, then that's somebody to look at too. So love this game on the New Orleans side. New Orleans defense. If I was going to run it back, maybe I'd take DJ Moore. He's only 5.9, which I think is priced appropriately for the context of the slate. So, Carr, Olave, Kamara, and then DJ Moore. If you want to throw in more in the New Orleans defense too, that makes a lot of sense. Colts and Panthers. This is my third favorite game of the week, 43.5 total, 2.5. So unfortunately, the Colts starting quarterback who started the season, Richardson, is out for the season. Tore his AC joint, had surgery on it, should be ready for 2024 season. So this is Gardner Minshew's team. And it seems that Jonathan Taylor is starting to really establish himself in the backfield. 6'4" is a decent price tag for him, so I really like him in cash and GPP. Zach Moss, I think, is still in play also. Pittman and Downs. Downs is questionable, but he should be playing. Wide receiver-wise are fine. A tight end, if you need to. Granson should be back, but Ogletree and Mo Alley Cox, I think, are more blockers. Not super interested. I don't think anybody eclipses 5 points, so I'm not really going to touch that. So if I'm stacking this game, I'm going to take Minshew and then give me Taylor or Pittman or both. And then I'm going to probably run it back with Adam Thielen on there. So I don't trust Bryce Young. This Colts defense, I think, is also in play. Chubbard Hubbard is taking over the backfield for Miles Sanders, allegedly. So, he's at 5K, another one that you can play. Thielen has just been, his price has gotten up there, but he's just been a target monster. So if you can get to him in cash, he's just like so reliable. Dropped the ball in the end zone, I believe, but they still like target him in the red zone when they get down there. So I think he's fine. So game should be close, hopefully, and it should be a lot of opportunity for some DFS points here. Giants and Raiders. Interesting storyline here. Monday Night Football, the Raiders looked abysmal. Jimmy Garoppolo had 2 touchdown passes. Like, I think one would have been 98 yards, the other one would have been like 65 yards, just completely overthrew Devontae Adams. I went to work the next day and asked everybody if they heard what that thud was. And then I said it was, Jimmy Garoppolo's pass finally hitting the ground. So he's been benched. The coach McDaniels has been fired. The offensive coordinator has been fired. The GM's been fired. Pierre Paul, I believe, the former Giant, which who they're playing, is it's the new head coach, the interim head coach, is a former Giant player. He wants to open up the offense and stuff. So Aiden O'Connell gets a start here. Daniel Jones should be back for the Giants, so we don't have to worry about Tommy DeVito or Tyrod Taylor. Saquon Barkley is definitely in play here at 7-9. He said he wants to break Tiki Barber's rushing record, and they've been handing the ball off to him. He's been getting a lot of carries, so I think that helps. The Waller's out, so Bellinger will be filling in tight end. Decent value there at 2.5 for a starter. Should be able to catch some balls. And this wide receiver thing is just Slayton's a deep threat. Wan'Dale Robinson's the gadget play guy and probably the best one there, but you have so many other options there. It's just a mud puddle. So, should be a close game. So if this isn't on my board, it'd probably come as my 6th favorite game. But I would probably look at it like Daniel Jones or O'Connell, either quarterback you can play. Jones has a rushing upside. He's 5'6", so he's not super expensive. Barkley's definitely in play there. I don't know if I'd pick a wide receiver. Wan'Dale Robinson, I'd probably go with Giant defense. If I'm stacking, I'm probably going Jones, Barkley, Giant defense, maybe pick Wan'Dale Robinson, and then I'm going to run it back. I'm going to play a lot of Josh Jacobs, and I'm going to play a lot of Devontae Adams. I just think that Devontae Adams, with this new coach and this new breath of fresh air, has a game like DeAndre Hopkins did last week, that he just has a breakout game. I think this is the opportunity. It's indoors, it's in Las Vegas, it's a new era. And I think Jacobs runs and catches the ball. And then I think definitely they can exploit the Giants pass defense. So Jacoby Myers might come into play here. Hunter Renfrow might come back from the dead. So there's another name at minimum price there to maybe throw in a GPP lineup. And I think Michael Mayer, the tight end, will definitely benefit from this also at 2.8. He's always in play. So we end it with the game of the week, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. I think a lot of people are going to look at this as DFS gold. I personally think I'm going to fade this game in cash mostly, just because I think both teams have really good defenses. Now, they could put up, 46.5 points, or it could be a low scoring game. I don't know how it's going to go. So I think you could, if you want to stack the game, you could go with either quarterback. Dak, I had zero of him. I had lost faith in him. He came back off the bye week and he looked outstanding last week. And Jalen Hurts, I think, is still hurt. We haven't seen him rush as much, but he's still getting it done through the air and through as their goal line back with the brother shove, the tush push. So I think either one can be in play. Tony Pollard, I see a lot of people recommending him for cash, almost as like a prime or a core play, but he hasn't had a rushing touchdown since the first week of the season. The Eagles have a stout rush defense, and I just think he's 100% back from his injury. So I'm kind of skeptical. I don't think I'll be playing a ton. I'll have him in some lineups, but I don't think if it correlates, but I don't think I'll be playing a ton of Pollard. I'll be below the field on that one. CeeDee Lamb, yes, I'll be playing. I think Gallup is banged up, so that should help Cooks. And then Jake Ferguson, the tight end, yes. So if I'm stacking Dallas, can be Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Ferguson. And maybe if I want to go extreme GPP, go take the Dallas defense. And they've been dominant. I love Micah Parsons. He reminds me of like those linebackers I grew up with like Lawrence Taylor, and then like, I watched the 85 Bears like when I first started watching football, and then Ray Lewis. And, I just really just love those, like, just guys that can just, one guy that can just completely change the game. I mean, Pittsburgh had people like that, TJ Watt's like that now. So it's just, but the Eagles are really good. So I just really think this would be a great football game to watch. On the Eagles side, if I'm stacking it, Swift I like, but Gainwell and Penny are starting to get some more traction, so that kind of eats into him. AJ Brown is definitely the alpha here. So Hurts and Brown, Devontae Smith, would probably be like the pivot off there in a GPP. It's kind of like playing Waddle, with Hill and Tua stack. Everybody's going to go with, and in a GPP, if you want to be a little bit different and hope for like that. I know Julio Jones caught a touchdown pass, but he's on a snap count, so I probably won't have exposure to him. And Goddard tight end, I like him better in this matchup than I have in the past. So just kind of breaking it down on the quarterback level, like I said, Fields is he's out now, so we cross him off. Stafford's questionable, probably not going to play. Jones from the Giants still has a lingering injury, and Hurts is still not 100%. And Garoppolo been bench, and Murray's not playing. So Lamar, Hurts, and Dak, I think, are your top quarterbacks there. Carr, Stroud, and Howell, I like that midsection there. And if you want to go Kano, if you want to go Daniel Jones for the cheap section, and Baker Mayfield and Gardner Minshew are definitely in play. I'm not playing Baguette, I'm not playing Jay Hall, and I'm not playing Bryce Young. For running backs, Kamara, Barkley, Jacobs, and Pollard's there, but again, I'm kind of apprehensive in playing him. So Kamara, Barkley, and Jacobs are definitely the ones I'll have the most exposure to. B-Rob on Atlanta, I think, is going to be very chalky and a great cash play. Taylor is also, but if you fear Moss, or if you want to play Moss in a GPP, I think he's definitely there. And then Swift is there, but again, I said I'm kind of apprehensive. So in this medium range, it's definitely B-Rob. I'll play a lot of Taylor. Swift and Moss I'll have a limited exposure to. Cheap one, Singletary. I hate the matchup. You're playing against one of the best run defenses out there. So, but I think you might need to eat that chalk. Hubbard is a nice pivot off of it. Should have most of the share now. and then White to Tampa Bay and Stevenson also have decent matchups. I'm fading Ingram and Arizona against the Cleveland defense. Foreman, now that the other guy's back, and it's going to be a timeshare in Chicago. Madison from Minnesota, and Washington, B-Rob. For wide receivers, the top one, AJ Brown, Lamb, Thielen, Adams. Don't think you can go wrong with any of them. Correlate with a quarterback if you're playing them, or running back against another team. Olave, Pittman, Evans, and Lockett. Love this mid-range here, especially Olave. It's a great matchup there. And even the 5K to 6K range here, McLaurin, I think, is a great run back. In that game, that should be Flowers for the Ravens, and then Collins and Dell are both of them for Houston. A great play there. And then cheap ones, Douglas is going to be the absolute lock of the slate, probably for New England against that really bad pass defense. Now Dotson as a pivot off McLaurin, Van Jefferson for Atlanta, who has no wide receivers, but it is a great matchup there. And quarterback just when we throwing the ball now, and then Brown as a third wide receiver, and a great matchup, and a chance to be able to maybe go out there, and he doesn't need to do much at his price point to make a huge impact. Tight ends, like the usual suspects, without Kelsey's not on the slate, or and Kittle, so you have Andrews, Hockenson, and Goddard. I think any of them definitely pair with the quarterback if you're playing one of theirs. Medium range, Pitts I love, because I think there's really lack of depth of wide receiver for Atlanta. Schultz and Ferguson are definitely ones that you could look at playing also in their matchup. Njoku for Cleveland. McBride, again, just it's a rookie quarterback there for Arizona against a really good defense. And Logan Thomas for Washington is a great spot. And then Jonnu Smith also for Atlanta. They're down people. Otten for Tampa Bay has been solid, and Mayer for the Raiders, I think you'll see up and coming. So best buys, definitely New England and the Giants in a great spot there. If you're going to pay up, New England or Cleveland are definitely great ones. If you're taking a punt for cheap ones, Green Bay and Carolina have some upside, and in play are Atlanta and Indy. I'm avoiding Chicago and Arizona. I've already gone over the game steps for you, so let's look. And I've actually have two cash for you this week. So my main cash I'm going to go with, which is a little cheaper. I'm going to give you Carr, Kamara, Taylor, at running back, Douglas and Olave, and the New York Giants for defense. But if you want to pay up at quarterback, then I think Lamar or Hurts definitely work. B-Rob at Atlanta and Singletary would be your cheaper running backs. And then AJ Brown, either with Lamar or Hurts, either one, I'm going to take them there. Tight end on DK, give me Logan Thomas or Njoku. I'm probably going to go cheaper there. I might fade one of them, slide Andrews up into there if I'm playing Lamar. And then in the Hurts line, I'm going to play Thielen. I'm going to pay one of the cheaper tight ends. I'm going to go with New York Giants as my defense. In GPP, I think this is New England's week against a Washington defense that has struggled against the pass and now has given up like a lot of their really good pass rush. So give me Jones, give me Jacobs and Barkley as my running backs. Devontae Adams, I think, is going to have a breakout game. Give me Pitts. And with Jones, I'll probably throw Douglas in that lineup too in the GPP also, just because he's so cheap. And I think you can play him in cash or GPP just to kind of correlate. And give me the New England defense. Stevenson will work in that line also with some upside. FanDuel, kind of the same build. Just going to go a little bit cheaper and running back there just because I couldn't get everything in I wanted to. And I'm going to run it back with McLaurin. And then Lamar Hurts, the same thing. I'm going to throw Pollard in there just because he's so cheap on FanDuel. But again, I might reconsider that when the morning comes and I actually put the lines out, because I really, that just his he hasn't been great, and it really scares me against Philly. Singletary, Douglas, Andrews, or Goddard. I'm going to pair the tight end with the quarterback I have in New England or the Giants' defense. And then GPP, kind of the same thing. I'm taking Jones from New England, Barkley, Jacobs, Adams, Pitts at tight end, and New Orleans defense. I can have enough money to pay up for them. So I got for you. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat below. Hit me up at MegaRow31 on X or Twitter. If you want more information on Offside DFS, it is in the description of the video. You can get in and get a full package, all our showdown slates, everything else that we cover for NFL. It is super, super cheap. Only, I think it's like $15 or $10 a week or something like that. Not bad at all. But if these videos help you, please help the back, subscribe to our channel, like the videos, and then share with your friends. And subscribe to our channel, you know, when our videos are coming out and all the other cool stuff that we have going on there. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Good luck in your contest. Don't forget to turn your clocks back. Hope you have a great weekend and it's a profitable day for you tomorrow on Sunday. And I'll see you next week.